Hi everyone, Bethany here, your clean eating coach. And today I wanted to talk about one obstacle that kept me from clean eating for a long time. And I wonder if it's your obstacle or one of yours, because trust me, there are a lot of obstacles to having a clean eating habit, and we just work on knocking them out one at a time. So the one I want to talk about today is the belief that cooking and preparing clean food is really hard. Okay, so the belief that cooking and preparing clean, healthy food is hard. So I grew up believing that. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was those around me. Oftentimes we pick up the messages of our parents or our community. So for whatever reason, I thought, oh gosh, it's just so hard to chop vegetables. It's hard to cook mashed potatoes. It's hard to fill in the blank related to kitchen. You name it, I believed it. It's too hard. It takes too much time. It's too much effort. No go. And so I guess my first challenge to you in this, and that was in my own self, was, is that true? Because we believe a lot of things that are lies, and that is a lie. And cooking and preparing food, like everything else in life, is hard at first because you're not good at it. When you were a little kid and you started to learn to walk, you weren't great at it. You fell all the time, but you kept getting up because you hadn't learned yet that it was a failure, right? And the same thing is true here. So first, acknowledge that what you're believing might be a lie. Second, be willing to try even though you fail. Keep trying even though it's hard. One of the ways that I started to cook and realized that I had believed a lie was little tiny micro experiments. So like I said, okay, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong, right? Step number one, maybe I'm wrong. Step two, okay, well, how do I know if I'm wrong in this belief? So I tried a recipe here, or tried, okay, let me see if I can figure out how to do this thing. So little experiments here and there that I did that started to help me prove to myself that cooking wasn't as hard, that preparing food didn't have to be this challenging nightmare that I made it out to be in my head. And so what's cool about this process for me is that experiments are fun. If you remember being a kid or in school when you got to do those really cool experiments in high school, I got to dissect a frog. It was gross, but it was cool, right? And like, experiments aren't about succeeding or failing. They're about learning something new. So if you can look at the process of learning to cook and prepare food like an experiment that's not changing your identity, it's not determining whether you're a success or a failure at life, it's just an experiment, then it's a lot easier to give yourself grace when it doesn't go so well. So that would be a really big tip right there. It's just give yourself the grace, experiment with new things. Another thing that I tried was I ate frozen food a lot, especially when I was a teacher. I just didn't have the time. And again, I didn't know how to cook, right? So I thought, I gotta eat something, right? Frozen egg rolls, frozen orange chicken packets, like, all the things. That was me. And one thing I realized was, I bought a frozen bag of rice and mixed vegetables, and I followed the directions to stir fry them or something. I don't think it turned out very well, but I would get something like that, then I would follow the directions on the package. So it was really easy, right? I followed the directions, they prepared all the things for me, kind of like if you buy a monthly meal kit, like HelloFresh or something, similar to that. I made the dish and then thought, you know what, I liked this. I wonder if I could make this on my own. So, when you buy a frozen dinner, you see all the components in it. And so I thought, okay, let me try this. So after eating it once from like the really easy version, I then moved to the next step up, which was trying it on my own. Usually didn't ever taste quite as good, didn't have as much sugar, or it wasn't as processed, but it was empowering to realize that I could take the pieces that were in that frozen conglomeration and then buy them on my own cheaper and feel empowered to make it myself. So that was another step toward realizing that cooking didn't have to be so hard. Preparing food wasn't quite so stressful as I believed in my head. So I definitely encourage you to try that. Like, let's say you often buy the box of instant rice that has like spices in it. So make it, but really pay attention to, what's on the label. Like, oh, they used onion powder, salt, garlic, cumin, whatever it is. And then buy your own big bag of rice, have those spices, and see if you can make it on your own, right? You're saving a lot of money and you're actually becoming more proficient in the kitchen. Another step I would recommend is practicing the same recipe or the same technique over and over and over. Again, when you were a kid and you learned to walk or learned to tie your shoes, you sucked at it at first. That's part of the process. There's a quote I learned from, oh God, what's his name? I don't remember his name, but it'll come back to me. The MF CEO, you gotta look him up. He is a hardcore talker. One thing he says is, you have to be bad before you're a badass. And this has really helped me in the past few months. Like, if you want to be really rocking at something, you're gonna suck at it first. It's just part of life, part of the process. And I think, like, if you're like me, then as I've gotten older, failing is a little harder to do. Like, it feels more risky. It feels like, ooh, but if I try something new and I'm not good at it, then that reflects on me as a person, and I will feel bad about myself, and all those things, right? And that's heavy, and that's deep, and it's more than just, oh, I don't want to cook. It's so much deeper than that. It's always deeper than that. So just remember, you got to be bad before you're a badass, okay? And if you want to be a badass cook, or you want to really eat clean, like, you're going to be bad at it first, all right? So just accept that. It's okay. Let's move on. So one other strategy I used, and I highly recommend, is find a recipe that you're excited to make, and then make it. Just one batch. Don't double it, because this is a new recipe, right? Try it, and then ask people for honest opinions about how it tastes. Think about how long it took, all these things. Are you willing to make it again? If you liked it enough, make it again the next week, and then the next week. There's a recipe I really like from Olive Garden. It's called Zuppa Toscana, and it's always been my favorite at the restaurant. And so I thought, you know what? I'm going to try and make this at home. A friend of mine had made it for lunch one day, and I thought, okay, if she can do it, I can do it. So community support is important here. So I found a recipe. I made it. It took me a while to make it the first time, and it was okay, but I was pretty excited, and Asa, my husband, was also very excited, and we both liked it. So I thought, okay. So it took me a while that first time. So then the next week, I bought all the ingredients again, made the same recipe. I know that for some people, you might think, oh, that's boring, but this is what it takes to become good at something, is doing it once and doing it again and doing it again. So now I can actually, I've made the recipe so many times, I know exactly the ingredients I need. So if I'm at the store and I think, oh, I want to make that soup, I think I could buy all the ingredients without looking at the ingredient list now. So that's cool. And the more I've made it, the more I've been able to tweak it, figure out what I like, what works, what doesn't work. And I'm a lot better at, like, chopping the potatoes. This recipe includes chopped up kale, potatoes, chicken broth. It involves cream, but we don't do much dairy in our house, so we use tofu. Yeah, there's a trick. Tofu can represent cream, and it's pretty cool. And then there are other things like turkey and sausage. So anyway, but yeah, every time I've made it, it's gotten easier and faster. And so there you go. Like, try these steps and see if it helps start to unwind that belief that cooking is too hard. Preparing food is just for people who don't work every day. It's just too darn hard, okay? So challenge yourself with that belief. Challenge yourself to say, maybe I've been believing a lie. Maybe it's not so hard, but step by step. Don't throw yourself a big hard job all at once. Start small. Start with learning how to chop an onion, chop a potato, try something simple, learn how to boil an egg. Something simple, baby steps will get you to the top. Not big giant leaps. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You've heard that before. So try these tips, and I would love to hear what you think. If you like this video, please click like below. I would love it if you subscribe. I'll have more videos coming down the pike, and all about really addressing obstacles that I faced in my journey to clean eating. And if you have other obstacles that you'd like to hear more about or my thoughts on, I'd love to hear about them. Comment below and share this video if you liked it, and look forward to talking to you guys soon for our next video. All right, take care, guys. Bye.